Good afternoon, I'm Rhiannon Jones. You're watching ITN on Tuesday, the 22nd of December. Coming up, the big freeze continues to cause havoc with yet more travel misery across Britain.
This gentleman was supposed to be going back to Germany this evening, but obviously
no way.
Meanwhile, Eurostar's back on track as trains start moving again, much to the relief of thousands of stranded passengers.
Yeah, they've said that people travelling, or who should have travelled on Saturday and Sunday, will travel today, definitely.
Also coming up.
Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what your background is, anything is possible.
With the year coming to an end, it's time to look back and take stock of what we've achieved, and someone who should be very proud is Susan Boyle. We catch up with Britain's Got Talent judge Piers Morgan. Plus,
What? He's got a gun?
an off-duty police officer fails to see the funny side of a snowball fight in Washington. All that and more coming up shortly. First though, our top stories in detail.
Eurostar trains may be running again, but on dozens of roads, nobody was going anywhere. For thousands of drivers, it was a long, uncomfortable and cold night in their cars. Many others opted to abandon their vehicles and walk. Heavy snowfall and plunging temperatures left many roads treacherous, causing huge tailbacks.
going nowhere fast, but we have managed to get a hotel. This gentleman was supposed to be going back to Germany this evening, but obviously
No way.
No way.
Others, though, were looking on the bright side. The M40 in Buckinghamshire was among the areas worst affected. 6 rest centres were set up there to cater for stranded motorists. Another 2,000 people were trapped in their vehicles in Berkshire.
You all right, mate?
Problems too on more minor roads where people found themselves caught out by the driving
We've got one
conditions.
Land Rover there, we've got Land Rover Discovery in front of me.
Already, Transport Minister Sadiq Khan has promised to ask tough questions about road gritting in Basingstoke and Reading. London and South East England notched up the greatest number of call-outs as the AA reported its busiest night for 25 years. More than 6,000 breakdowns had been logged by the start of the rush hour. Forecasters expect less snow today, but low temperatures, which went down as far as -9 Celsius in Cheshire overnight, mean the ice and the difficult driving conditions will be with us for a while yet.
After a 3-day suspension that left tens of thousands of travellers stranded, Eurostar's finally back up and running. The first train pulled out of the Gare du Nord station in Paris early this morning, carrying 750 passengers, while hundreds of others continue to wait.
Depends on how many people are in front of you, really, and whether they've got priority, whether they've been here since the first day when Eurostar stopped. If you've got tickets ongoing, you're in priority listing, so it's very difficult to know when you're going to go.
There's only a limited service. The trains are expected to leave hourly throughout the day. Those who are supposed to travel over the weekend are being given priority.
Yeah, they've said that people travelling, or who should have travelled on Saturday and Sunday, will travel today, definitely. And everyone else can join the queue and wait. But it's a good job we're English because we like queuing.
Officials say it was snow in the engines that caused the trains to break down. As many as 40,000 people have been affected by the suspension. Eurostar's chief executive Richard Brown's faced stiff criticism over the company's handling of the crisis.
Actually, Eurostar is usually a very reliable service, and that what happened last weekend was utterly unprecedented.
Eurostar's offered its deepest apologies and promised compensation. It's also commissioned an independent review into the problems. Now, the fallout following the recent snowstorms looks set to continue at least for the next few days. It's caused Christmas travel chaos across the country, but for some, it's offered a rather unique and unexpected shopping experience. More than 100 people spent the night in a department store in High Wycombe after becoming trapped. Over 50 members of staff and around 50 adults and children were given food and a bed at the John Lewis store after roads blocked them in yesterday afternoon.
The cold snap has been causing heated arguments in the UK over delays and travel disruption. But in the US, a snowball fight led to a shocking confrontation.
He's got a gun?
Organised by people in Washington at the weekend, what started out as a bit of fun turned very sinister. after an off-duty police officer drew his gun.
Pulled up and people just basically started throwing snowballs right at him and right at his car initially. He came out of his car with a gun and then people started throwing snowballs at him personally.
Dan Hayes, who caught the events on camera for Reason TV, says members of the crowd who were initially shocked decided to taunt the officer.
So he put it back in his holster and people in the crowd were still sort of taunting him, and one guy whipped a snowball and hit him right in the side of the face, and you can see that in my video. And he was upset and he was kind of talking smack to the crowd a little bit, saying, throw another snowball at me, throw another snowball.
Well, that does not seem like a good idea in any way, dude.
Throw another snowball. Throw another snowball.
Some witnesses who were unaware that the driver was an officer called the police, fearing the situation could get further out of hand.
The officer walked up, from that direction over there, and I looked at him, and he said, "Okay, where's the guy with the gun?" And I pointed to, the office, who I later learned was Officer Baylor, with the gun. And the police officer responding to the situation looked a little confused, and he was like, "What? That's a detective." And so he continues to kind of go forward to the detective, and once the detective sees him, the other officer, he kind of calms down just a little bit.
Get back up on the curb. Get up on the curb.
The officer has since had his badge and gun removed by Washington, D.C.'s police chief, putting him on desk duties with the possibility of further disciplinary action, something that many community members think is necessary.
I mean, a lot of customers were upset because there was kids playing around too in the neighborhood. And it was just the community just getting together to have fun, and it was a nice storm that everyone wanted to relax with. So,
with the case now under investigation, this officer no doubt regrets letting the snow get him hot under the collar.
Piers Morgan hopes that Susan Boyle's incredible success story will encourage people from all walks of life to audition for the next series of Britain's Got Talent. The reality show judge, who helped propel the unknown Scottish singer from virtual obscurity to global superstardom, says Subo is an inspiration to all wannabes.
What Susan's done is tell everyone at home who may think they're too old, that they're not the right weight, they're not the right fashion icon. They've told them all, forget all that. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what your background is, anything is possible.
Speaking at an N-Power energy-saving event in London, in between encouraging people to turn off their electrical goods for an hour and do things like play Twister, Piers admitted, though, that it will be hard for his show to top what Susan's achieved next year.
Well, Susan has set the bar incredibly high now in terms of what this show can achieve from the winners and the ones who come second, third and fourth. But I think from what I'm hearing from the audition process so far, the early sessions have been amazing.
Well, that's what we have to look forward to in 2010. But as for this year's star, Susan Boyle, you'll be pleased to hear that Piers says she's doing just fine.
Everyone's worried about Susan Boyle, apart from Susan Boyle, who is basically sitting at home now with her cat Pebbles, counting the money from the 8 million albums she's now sold and rising. I think people should stop worrying about Susan. She's having a ball.
Christmas isn't Christmas without a school nativity, and here's a story guaranteed to make you feel all warm and cosy inside. Plus, it's got some Hollywood sparkle to add the movie star touch. Noel Clarke, who's directed and starred in blockbusters Kiddlehood and Adulthood, and is also a familiar face for any of you Doctor Who fans, returned to his old primary school in West London to direct the school nativity. Far from being starstruck, the children got stuck in to his warm-up.
Get it back, team.
Encouraging good dental hygiene as well as some good acting skills. Bonus. So why did Noel decide to take a break from movies to go back to the classroom?
I hadn't been back to my school in a long time, and I think when I was young, and I knew at a young age, like 5 or 6, I wanted to act, but I didn't really know what it was. And if I had someone come back and sort of give me that inspiration, it would have been great. So I was more than happy to come back and do that.
And all the usual props were used, the tea towels for the shepherds, the manger and the angel wings. Oh, and don't forget another essential, the proud parents filming every word.
Wake up, wake up! You have to go to Bethlehem to be counted. Soon they came to Mary's house. Wake up, wake up!
Didn't ramp it up too much. I wanted to keep it traditional. I didn't want to just come in and ruin years of tradition. You know, I was thinking about having the king with the gold talk about having bling and saying this is out of date when you platinum, but I thought, you know, maybe we won't do that. So it's just traditional, and it was just about fun and just making sure that they enjoyed it and that they could be confident in front of the audience and stuff like that. So hopefully they did.
So I'm guessing it was hard work directing a bunch of 5 to 7-year-olds.
No, in fact, they're better to direct than some actors and actresses who have, you know, years of jaded egos and stuff like that. When they're kids, it's all about enjoying it and having fun, and they've got the energy to do it, and they're very receptive, so I enjoyed it a lot.
No Divas drops. And with those adorable faces, you couldn't get angry, could you? If you'd like to see the Nativity in full, tune in to Sky Movies Christmas channel at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve.
The most capped Welshman of all time, a former captain of both Wales and the British Lions, Gareth Thomas has nothing left to prove. Not much left to learn, but the game of rugby now has something to learn from him. That in this most macho of sports, one of the greats is a gay man, and he's not going to keep quiet about it any longer.
The way the world is changing, the way everything apart from sport seemed to be going in a certain direction, then it just seemed like the best time for me. No, there was absolutely no pressure at all to this, and I suppose obviously since the age of 18 this has kind of been a decision that I'd like to do, because probably every gay man in the world would tell you, you know, to come out to people is like a weight lifted off your shoulders. So I've always been under my pressure, but pressure put on myself really, to try and be able to walk down the street and just feel liberated.
At the start of his career, to be accepted in rugby, Gareth Thomas felt he needed to live as a straight man. He married Gemma, his childhood sweetheart, and it's only in the last 2 or 3 years that he's begun to tell his teammates what he'd been hiding.
I wouldn't have sat here 15 years ago saying what I'm saying now. So that says to me that rugby has changed. And when I say rugby, I mean people as well have changed.
And that's his hope, that when a legend of the game can tell the world he's gay, any gay rugby player will feel he can do the same.
Now the mould is broken, it doesn't have to be an issue. It's not an issue if a straight man plays rugby, so why should it be an issue if a gay man plays rugby?
A quick look at the weather now. More snow likely across Scotland and northern England tonight. Another cold day tomorrow. Snow showers expected again across parts of Scotland. Rain further south will move across Wales and southwest England during the afternoon.
On a beach in sun-kissed Australia, a different kind of art exhibition has been taking shape. While the UK freezes under wintry conditions, it's time for the sand sculptors to show off their talents. There's a bit of politics. There are faithful reproductions. Scenes from history. Iconic figures. London buses. And other images of the British capital.
I planned it a bit bigger, but because on the other side we have Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan wasn't happy with the Big Ben. We have to make it smaller.
19 sculptors have worked on 280 truckloads of special sand, dumped here especially.
I think her bottom leg is still a bit short, but I'll fix it. That's easy about sand.
The sand is coarse and hard, ideal for work that needs to withstand the elements. The organisers say the exhibition will open to the public after the Christmas break.